Hello, welcome friends. Jason Ruff here, back for another episode of The New Normal. My guest this week is Jackalope goaltender and the Rock of Dunkirk. I, of course, am talking about Andrew Takacs. Andrew, great to see you, my friend. You're looking good. You got the
You
nice
too.
COVID mullet going, everything looking good,
Yep,
my friend.
got the mullet working right now. Yes, sir. It's looking good.
So, Andrew, first and foremost, how are you doing? How has your summer been, especially with kind of COVID impacting it and turning things into a new normal that we've had to deal with?
It's been great. You take it how you can. You don't want to look down and like take the negatives as part of it. And that was a really big thing that I took when I was coming back for sure. With all the rinks being closed right now, it's kind of hard to get on the ice, but you can do all the other things around it. You can do your off-ice training, especially for goalies. You got your hand-eye training, you got your stretching, your mobility and stuff like that. So there's still so many parts of your game that you can still work on, even though you can't get ice time. But yeah, no, I've been taking a lot of this time to spend time with my family. I got a brother who's going to college next year, so it's good to catch up with him before he leaves as well. And then my dad's going to be all alone at the house, so it's good that he's got somebody to annoy him for right now while someone's in the house. So it's been good. I've been working when I can. So it's been great. And these next couple weeks is going to be some good ice time for me coming up. Hopefully the rinks are starting to open up a tiny bit. I'll be doing some traveling to do some different types of skates in camp. So it'll be great.
And what has your off-season training looked like? You kind of mentioned a little bit working the hand-eye, working some stuff off ice. But what has that been specifically entailing, seeing as you haven't been able to get the ice time you've wanted?
For sure. So I have a program that I'm using. It's part of Maria Mountain. She's a goalie training company out of Canada. Really based on the whole. Not only are you working out just to build yourself, but you're also building out the right muscles in terms of what you need for being a goalie. And so it's different from a player perspective versus for a forward versus a defenseman versus a goalie. You're just using different muscles. So it's a lot different. I got upper body workouts, lower body workouts, full body workouts, the stamina workouts, the speed workouts, and all of them are just tying together just so that I'm getting better this summer. So that when I get back on the ice, I'm not so shaky. I'm not sitting there gassed after the first practice. So that's the biggest thing I'm waiting for right now, is to see how much I will improve and how easy hopefully it'll be once I return to the ice.
And how much are you looking for? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Like you said as well, the whole hand-eye stuff, like that's really, really big. I got a whole setup outside, stick handling and stuff like that, really big. The stretching, that's just the simple stuff that you can do every day just to make sure you're staying healthy and making sure you're still all good.
So you're saying Jacks fans are going to see a little Patrick Waugh with the puck and just shoot it down? Or I guess Eddie Belfour might be a better example. Played for Dallas for a number of years, and he was famous for coming way out of his net and just playing the puck.
Yeah, for sure. I was watching the Pecorine goals and stuff like that, and I'm getting jealous. I need some points now. Yeah, for sure.
Well, speaking of stats, I was just taking a precursory look through your stats before we came on last year with the Jackalopes, 2-7-0 on the season through 10 games played, 910 save percentage. You were facing an average of 33.5 shots per game. Stats aside, when you look at how last season went, you look forward to this coming season. What are you most excited about?
It'll be a big change. I was talking to the brand new coach and talking to Adam a lot, and it is going to be a big change, and I'm really excited for that. I know the South is going to be is going to have a lot of change. There's a lot of guys that always come in, come out, because that's just how the null is, and that's what's the beauty of it. They've developed guys, they move them on, and that's how it's supposed to be. So each year is different. It's never the same. Unless you're like one of those big name teams that can constantly bring in guys. So I'm really excited for that. But for sure, like you were saying, with the stats aside, I'm really looking forward to seeing how our team improves on the offensive end, because I know defensively we were really, really sound. We could always be there for each other on the defensive side, but I feel like this year when we bring in the offense a little bit more and we get a full game going like that, we can go up and down the ice and we'll be a lot stronger as a team like that for sure.
One of the stats that you had that kind of stretches back to your time in Maryland, for those fans who aren't aware, Andrew came to the Jackalopes midway through the season from the Maryland Black Bears, your same home state as you are, Dunkirk, Maryland. But one of the stats that came up to me is that you were perfect in shootouts last season, and I did not get a chance to pull that stat out when you're with the Jackalopes. Thought it might happen during that Topeka game, but thankfully Jack's.
No, I did face a few breakaways in that game, but luckily it wasn't the shootout. So no, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I don't know what happens, what turns on, but no, that's something that, if it's that one little piece in the game when it's just you and you got to take it for the team, I don't know what hits, but it's just something different,
Hey, whatever works. Like some people, some players have that little switch that flicks on in their head whenever they reach a certain situation. Perhaps that's yours. I'm very glad that it's in that situation, because really that's when everyone's holding their collective breath one way or the other.
Oh, for sure. I'd rather be the one in the net than the one who has to sit there and watch and just hope and pray. So yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, certainly. Plus, it's probably better to be in the net because you just have to keep the status quo. You just got to keep the puck out of the net.
Oh,
Easier said than done, I know.
It's one shot, you just got to stop the one shot. Not even a rebound,
Exactly. So coming into next season, be your second season with the Jackalopes, you have a chance to make some records, put your name up there with some of the great goaltenders of this organization, Connor Hellebuck, Alex Kamara, and the like. I know you're not a records guy. You don't care about individual stuff that much. It's all about the team, and that's one of your best qualities, by the way. But when you look at the potential, not only for you, but for this team, what excites you?
The fact that we can completely change around and become like an absolute powerhouse, I believe. I believe that we can become one of the top teams in the league. I feel like the goalies last year were strong. I felt like at points the D were really, really strong, and at points we did have some really, really strong forwards. And I feel like once we tie those all together and we have that team and we create that bond right from the start and we build that chemistry, I feel like we can really push off. And that was really something that I saw just with my team in Maryland when I was there in the beginning of the year, was that slow gel. And that's something I really look forward to with Odessa for sure, is that slow gel, because I feel like we can really become a really powerhouse team in the South.
Now, was there any point last year when you were playing with the Jacks where you had a save or you had a sequence and after the play was over, you're just looking or thinking to yourself like, holy crap, how did I make that save?
For sure would be the one in where was the Lone Star. It was Lone Star. Yeah, for sure. That was a crazy weekend. Starting off with the first game when Sterney got injured and I had to play the little bit left of the third period that I did. I knew that for the rest of the weekend it was going to be a bit of a battle. Those guys were really, really good that year. They were a very special team with a lot of very, very special players. And I knew that just built like another little drive in me to like, hey, like I'm here. I can prove myself that against this team, we can do this. And for sure that one save, I just remember I was down and out and I was just like, oh crap. And just threw the stick over just to try and throw something over there. And it hit me. And I was just like, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. And sometimes you get lucky doing it.
Every player I've talked to, now granted we're all biased here, but every player I've talked to has said that they believe that save should have been the absolute number one save highlight, probably the number one highlight overall in the North American Hockey League last season. But that's the thing, though, that I think a lot of people, at least in my opinion, sleep on when they look at Andrew Takacs, the goaltender, is just how athletic you are. In fact, in a lot of ways, I've never said this before, but I'll say it here. In fact, Andrew, you kind of remind me a little bit of a larger and bulkier Alex Kamara in a lot of ways, at least in terms of your athleticism. Like I remember, like there'd be times last year where Alex would have these crazy games, and it was always against Shreveport. There was always that one game against Shreveport per weekend where he.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if every single year, the goalies hate Shreveport. That's just the usual,
But it's true, just in terms of your athleticism and your poise. Like you can tell when Alex Kamara is on his game, he's like, okay, shut it down.
Yeah.
All Jack's need is just a couple goals here, and it's good. I remember that specifically in. I'm trying to remember if it was the Shreveport game for Permian Basin Strong Night or if it was the Topeka game. Both those games you were on, you were excellent. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you were better one game than not.
No, yeah.
But there was one game specifically I remember saying to myself in the first period, oh, he's on. He is on. And every save you made just looked easy.
I think that's a really big important part of goaltending is finding, like, every goalie's different, you know, and how they play. But what I really take as a big point is using that athleticism when you need to, you know. You can make all the simple stops and you can make everything. If you can make every single save look so simple, then it's not going to always be what a good save, but like as like you'll have that energy, you'll have that readiness so that when you do need to bring out the athleticism, you can use it. I find that as a really big piece is using the simplicity until you need to use the extraordinary athleticism and the flashiness.
Though you only played in 10 games last year with the Jackalopes, do you have a favorite moment from last season?
God, there were so many. I mean, being in Shreveport, I mean, of course, like just the environment, you know, you gotta hate, and the team you hate, but you know, the rink is crazy beautiful just in terms of how old it is and how it looks. Permian Basin Strong Night, of course, was amazing. You know, I really wanted to do Mojo Night. My mom has my jersey still, so that I was really looking forward to that night. That was just a cool another jersey that we had. But no, I mean, even the Topeka game that we won in overtime, like there's just so many. There was a bunch of great days just because, I mean, when you're battling every day with the boys and you're practicing every day with the boys, when you get to the games, you know, they all mean something because you work so hard during the week to get to those games that you can't throw away games, you know.
No, you can't. And with the South Division, obviously, the Wichita Falls Warriors coming into the South Division next year. The El Paso's getting a team the following season after that. Based on what you've seen in the South Division, different, obviously, from the other divisions in the North.
Oh, absolutely.
Is there one team that you just really get up to you get excited to play against them?
For sure, it would be Lone Star and Shreveport. I remember those. I mean, it was just my first games against Shreveport was the Permian Basin Strong Nights. So that was my first big game, and I knew they were a hot team going into it, and they were really, really good, and I knew that going in. But as well, like I was saying earlier, Lone Star, just because of how skilled they were. Another team I would have loved to play was Amarillo, and I didn't know if we had games coming up against them, but that was another team that was really, really strong that year, and it put up a lot of points. So I was really looking forward to play them as well.
So last question for you, Andrew, before we let you go. Obviously, Jackalopes main camp coming up here in the near future, along with the regular draft as well. Before we know it, we're going to be in training camp here in Odessa, and the season will soon be upon us. Can't be soon enough, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of individuals new to the NOL trying to make a name for themselves, not just here in the Jackalopes camp, but in other camps all over the league. What advice do you have for those individuals, especially goaltenders trying to stand out from amongst a crowd?
I think the biggest thing is just to keep your head down, play within yourself. Don't try and do anything flashy or over the top that you wouldn't do in a normal game. I feel like the biggest thing, especially with those combines, those camps, is showing really like who you are as a player, how you are, and it's not just about the on the ice stuff. It's so much bigger than that. The off the ice is so huge. It's so critical. Those little interactions, those little conversations, they mean everything. So, like especially when you're at those camps, you got to stay focused 24/7. You can't take your mind off the ball once. That's the biggest piece, I'd say.
Actually, I'm sorry, I lied. This is the last question for you. What is the best part about being an Odessa Jackalope?
God, definitely. The snow cones every Monday with the team, the group team snow cones. I still got them in my wallet right here. We've got 1, 2, 3 free snow cones coming our way to the team. Don't worry, I still got them, boys. They're coming. I know we didn't get to have them at the end of the season, but I'm bringing them back. I saved them. I'm not hiding them from anybody. They'll be there waiting for you guys when you get back.
I think we're going to have to change your nickname from the Rock of Dunkirk to Snow Cone. We'll put it up. We'll bring it up in the next team meeting, the next staff meeting. We'll figure it out. We'll let you know the results. Fan vote too. Well, maybe we'll do a fan vote. What do you think, fans? Andrew Snow Cone Takacs or Andrew the Rock of Dunkirk Takacs? Either way, Andrew, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us. Hope you're doing well. Happy 4th of July, seeing as it's coming up here in the next little bit. And we hope to see you back here in Odessa real soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks to all the fans, too. Hope to see you guys soon.